So back to what I was saying. What Epstein's local partners in crime are doing is falsifying records, saying I'm just a schizo addict, and I'm trying to go into that deposition not looking and smelling like one, which obviously my affect is not one of a schizo addict. But if my clothes are filthy and I smell like a sewer, and nobody can stand to be in the fucking room to take the deposition, even though I've been flying a sign for, I don't know, a month and a half. Did great right up until the students left. Um, so basically, it means that, I make a few bucks, eat, take my cancer meds, go do laundry, buy whatever I need to wash up. Means I've got my priorities straight. Means I am taking care of myself. So when I go in there sticking to high heaven, I have to make sure that everybody understands that I wasn't able to clean up because the citizens of Vermont have the corrupt, all the corrupt motherfuckers that are running these scams are doing so at the behest of Vermonters. This is what Vermont wants. I was wrong when I said Vermont's biggest industry is tourism and probably the university and student enrollment. It's making most of its money off human and drug trafficking. Let's just fucking be real here. And they have to launder it through all these businesses. That pays everybody well, so they keep their mouth shut, and there's all kinds of nice kickbacks and perks to shut up. So I'm not going to hold back on my, because it's important. Well, how did you survive all these years? First 4 years I left Chad's, I didn't have a Social Security check. I had to fly a sign for everything I needed and never had any problem whatsoever making the money that I needed to do that. Then I got Social Security, and even with the car, and used that to pay for a lot of diversions, but whatever. And I always never had enough money for the had to fly. Never had any problem collecting enough $1 bills over a matter of a couple, 2, 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours on slower days, to feed me for the rest of the week. And it's been that way right up until the past. Well, actually, until I got to Vermont. I'm going to be straight up. I don't get a lot of help from the public. I get bigger bills from true leftists, either students or probably people that aren't even. A lot of people aren't even from here. One guy gave me a large bill. His plate didn't say Vermont. He was living in his vehicle. He had a really nice van that apparently he had built out. He's not even from here. Um, but it's not like I get a lot of $1 bills. I'll get 3 or 4 $1 bills, and then a few people uh, will give bigger bills. But that still, even though I end up with enough money to operate, it's not because a whole lot of people helped. It's because a very small number of very serious people who really aren't, or really truly despise the Uniparty and Epstein's cabal, gave me bigger bills. So this community, and let's not even, I mean, that doesn't even count for the entire army of people who are still trying to lure me into their house under the guise of a whole lot of bullshit that makes no fucking sense. And of course, I got a confession out of them. They were high as hell. I said, well, I can't go into anybody's domicile. I have a protective detail around me, and they have to be able to have eyes on me at all times. Oh, you don't feel safe in my house? Where did that come from? That's not what I said. I didn't say that at all. So they told on themselves. That was yesterday down at the park. So, yeah, they're still trying to. I ain't going into anybody's house. I'm not going into a trap. I'm not going into anybody's apartment. I will go into that fucking deposition stinking as fuck, and I will make it very clear why I stink like fuck. Because your fucking community is red MAGA, regardless of the voting statistics and the few token progressives you've put in office. And they want a government like Paul Dragon and Weinberger who's gonna run these sex and drug makes them feel supreme. Oh, we're special. We get to drive nice cars. Ooh, look at that homeless person over there stinking like hell. It just makes them feel better about themselves to have a group of people that look like shit and smell like shit and beg. It just makes them feel special. And that's, I mean, Vermonters, they're just a bunch of elitist, bougie, racist pricks. Extremely more so than even Florida or Missouri or Arizona that kept the McCains and Goldwaters in power, or Florida that keeps DeSantis and Bondi and Rick Scott and the Bushes in power, or Missouri that keeps Josh Hawley and or Parsons in power, run by the Klan. Vermont's worse than all three of those motherfuckers put together. I'm not going to lie about that for anybody. So I'm putting this out there so that everyone can assess the situation and go, do we want her coming into this deposition smelling like shit, smelling like funk, and explaining why that's the case? Because I promise you it's going to have a huge economic impact. I'm going to call for a boycott of this motherfucker. I don't care if somebody comes along right now and hands me $300. I'm still going to do it, because it shouldn't be on one person or two people or four people or five people. This whole fucking community should be doing a little bit to help. And even if I go out today and 100 people hand me a $1 bill, I'm not taking these videos down. I'm going to assume they're trying to bail their ass out of trouble. So, all of you, and whether you're progressive or not progressive, whatever, think about the consequences coming down the pike when I go public. Besides them fucking trapping all those raccoons and unleashing a bioweapon in a damn park. That was your Department of Health. All these people pretending to be gang stalking me, jacking off around the tent. Oh, I'm friends with Sarah George. Oh, my so-and-so dates Bernie's, whatever. Oh, the mayor sent me, the new mayor. Whatever. Impersonating agents of progressive law enforcement or oversight. And doing horrendous things, trying to run a honeypot and shaming me and basically lying and gaslighting and threatening me, hoping that I blame it all on the progressives. And I let them think I was doing that. so that they would, because I wanted to see where they were going with this. And then once I found out they released, they admitted to the bioweapon, I had to start calling them out. Because at that point, I knew I had them on Michaela Rings too. So that's Vermont. That's the real Vermont. And that's going to cost everybody a fortune. And that's probably what it's going to take. Now, you can audit government systems, but the only way to change the people, their culture, is to make them suffer. Once they suffer and they lose their house and they lose their car and they can't buy their kid a brand new fucking car, and their kid has to go get a job and pay $500 for an old beater or $1,000 for an old beater somewhere like I did, maybe they'll fucking lose that bougie elitist attitude. I have a feeling most of them are probably going to go to jail right along with whoever the fuck they were, the Pomerlows and Redstone and whoever. I just let McDonald's know that they poisoned me again, and that's why I stink. They can give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit if they're poisoning people. And all these people are from Vermont. Can't blame McDonald's corporate for the response I just got from 2 fucking members of management. So I'm seeing Vermont's true colors, and I'm guessing that's exactly what the progressives want. Thinking they're testing their community. They know something's up. They know I shouldn't be catching all this motherfucking hell day in and day out when they keep getting elected. And of course, Senator Sanders, I guess he's been in office. I don't know how long he's been a senator, but he was a mayor years ago, decades ago. So I think he's finding out the hard way that most of that is he's being used as window dressing. And that he has the right to know that. He's got the right to know that. That he's out there fighting for Vermonters and they're fighting him right back and saying, nope, we got things exactly the way we want them. And Becca Ballant deserves to know that, and Sarah George deserves to know that, and anybody else who calls themselves progressive, whether you're city council or a prosecutor or a sheriff, whatever, a rep, a senator, whatever, you deserve to know things are exactly the way they want it. And once I'm interviewed by whoever, podcasters or journalists or whatever, how'd you survive? Vermont didn't fucking help. My community helped me up until I got to Vermont, and then the community fucking actively tried to kill me. And tried to kill Bernie Sanders' entire staff by setting his office on fire. I can't think of anything else I need to point out, but yeah, whatever. I'm not even apologizing for stinking anymore. If motherfuckers don't like the way I smell, they can fucking help. One good point of logic that my father taught me is, if you're not willing to get off your ass and do something about a problem, you have zero right to bitch about it. So everybody bitching about the way I smell, do something. Say, Miss, do you need a few bucks to go do laundry? Do you what can I do to help you clean up a little bit? No, they just you need to take a bath. You stink. You deserve to smell it, motherfucker. I don't feel bad for stinking up the whole fucking McDonald's lobby anymore. It's on them now. And I let her know that. You can pull the video. Is her name Erin? I let Erin and this other lady, Charlotte, I let them know that. You don't like the way I smell? That's your fucking food poisoning. They didn't say shit. They have nothing to say. They didn't say, I'm sorry. What time was it? So we can look up and see who the cook was, see who the man. They didn't give a fuck. I promise you, if I went into Burger King and said, I'm sorry I got food poisoning from something you served, they'd want to know the time. They'd do their best to figure out who all was on that shift to find out what the problem was and fix it. These motherfuckers already know what the problem is, because another manager been telling them that the cooks aren't throwing out the fucking food when the goddamn timer goes off. They cook up a batch of food so it's ready for when somebody orders it. And as soon as they get done cooking it and put it in their warmer, they set a timer. When that timer goes off, they're supposed to throw it out and make new fresh food, and they're not doing it. They're just reset the timer. So the shit sits there in that warmer growing salmonella or whatever the fuck. And that was a manager who told me that. So it's not like they don't know what the problem is. They don't give a fuck. Well, I'm going to go out on Shelburne and get cussed out for a few more hours again today.